Brilliance Audio presents the unabridged recording of This Time Around by Tawna Fenske, performed by Carly Robbins. Chapter 1. You go ahead. I'm saving room for those currant scones with Devonshire cream. Allie Ross took a sip of her Earl Grey and used the tip of one French manicured finger to nudge a plate of dainty tea sandwiches toward her mother. That's how it went in her mind, anyway. In reality, the tea was a can of tepid Diet Coke, the plate was a pile of legal documents, and the cozy tea room of her childhood memories was now the noisy visiting room of a federal prison. At least the French manicure was real. "It's all right there, Allison," her mother said, shoving the documents back across the table. "My attorney brought them yesterday when we were working on my appeal." Allie looked down to see the papers hadn't morphed into tea sandwiches or scones, or anything else she'd fantasized about since she was a little girl. This was not the life she'd imagined with herself, in a starring role as a grown-up lady who sipped tea with her mother and red wine with her handsome husband and apple juice with their two adorable children. It had never occurred to her how many of her youthful fantasies revolved around beverages. It was also possible she was losing it. "Allison, are you paying attention?" She snapped her focus back to her mother, who was clad head to toe in prison khaki. "I don't understand." Allie blinked back tears as she met her mother's cool green gaze. "I just had lunch with Grandma last week. She was totally fine. And she's never said a word about this." She gestured to the paperwork, unable to process it any more than she could process the thought that she'd never again see her grandma's handwriting on a birthday card, would never hear the story of her own father's birth, which her grandma had promised to share someday when you have your own baby, dear. "I didn't even get to say goodbye," Allie said. Across the table, Priscilla sighed. "Your grandmother always did know how to make a dramatic exit." But why wouldn't she have mentioned the B&B? She talked about how she wanted me to have her china and Aunt Gretchen's wedding rings, but her house? Look, your grandmother was always a little flighty, Allison, and clearly she didn't realize she was going to drop dead playing mahjong at the senior center. Allie flinched at her mother's words, but pressed her lips together to keep from...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?